Hi, it's Handy Val. Today I'm going to show you how to unclog your kitchen sink the organic way using a few different methods. So the first method we're going to use is chemistry, comprised of vinegar, baking soda, and boiling water. If that doesn't work, we're going to move over to step number 2, which will be using some basic tools you get from the hardware store, from your garage, or from your basement. So let's get to it. Okay, so the chemistry way is to first pour hot water down the kitchen sink. Now you got to be careful. In this case, our water seems to kind of be like making its way through somehow, but it does clog up. So it may actually work. So you want to pour boiling water, which we'll get to. Then you're going to let that sit for about 5 minutes. Then you're going to use baking soda. You're going to pour half a cup of baking soda down there, and then you're going to wait for another 5 minutes, and then pour about half a cup or a full cup of vinegar. So let's move on to the first part is going to be boiling water. So let's pour boiling water down the drain. You can see it's drained. So we're going to wait. Let's wait for 5 minutes. We'll move on to our next step. So our next step is let's get about a cup of baking soda. Use any, you don't have to necessarily be exact, and you want to kind of pour that down the drain. You also use the other side. If you got 2 of them, pour that down the drain as well. Now you're going to see that it's not necessarily going down, but that's why we're going to wait about 5 minutes, and it will slowly start to sink. Now if you notice that the baking soda isn't kind of going in, you could always kind of use your finger and try to squeeze it, push it down the drain as much as possible. In this case, I'm a little lucky because I don't think this is a serious clog, so it seems to be going. So I think this method's going to work, and we may not have to go to the tool method. So there you go. Kind of just want to sink it all the way in there, and as you're waiting for those 5 minutes to kind of come up. Okay, now that you know that the 5 minutes are up, you're kind of going to pour let's get a full cup of vinegar and kind of pour it down. So this is kind of going to be very similar to your grade 5 science experiment, like those volcanoes. So let's dump it in there. There we go. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Maybe we've got some chemical reaction happening that may or may not work out. Not sure yet. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a while. Let that sit for about a couple of minutes, and we will return. For about a couple of minutes, let's try the test. Let's turn on the water. Usually go on to the hot water and see if we've fixed the problem. Again, it sort of seems to be working. Seems to be working, but you can sort of see that it's not quite there. So we got a little bit more of a stubborn clog here. Okay, so now we got to move over to our step 2, which is to use our tools. Okay, our tools. Let's go underneath the kitchen sink. What you're going to notice there, where the clog is most likely happening, is down in this point here. So this is called the trap. So it's usually meant that way. Water remains there. Water is meant to stay there to kind of protect you from off-gassing from sewers. So it prevents sewer gases from blocks those sewer gases with the water that's here. So what you're going to notice in this case, I've got a little bit of a drain down here. So our goal here is going to be to turn this drain and kind of clean out this trap. And that's why we've got our screwdriver. So let's move on to that. All right, so we're going to want to use our bucket. In this case, I'm just using a recycling bin because there will be water coming out. So even though I've got the screwdriver to help us kind of unclog whatever's there, and I've got this tool called the channel lock that I described earlier on. So this is it's a very simple tool. It kind of adjusts, and it's a tool that's kind of, it's needed for any sort of plumbing type of tools. And you can get this at the, again, as I described, at any hardware store for $20 or $25. But let's first try doing this by hand. Maybe this thing can come undone by hand. Unlikely. Nope, does not seem to be coming. Oh, there we go. I was going the wrong way. So let's try that out and see what happens. Well, it's kind of yucky. It's quite dirty. Ooh. See a little bit of that. So water seems to be flowing freely. Okay, so I'm going to try sticking the screwdriver up here and kind of just finding out where the problem is. Okay, what's the problem? Okay, now even though we've got a little tool here, so it doesn't look like feel like we've actually done anything, which makes me wonder that maybe the problem goes beyond what we've got here. So let's go back to the little tube here, and we'll clean this out. And we're going to try doing this again by hand. Tighten this by hand. Okay, and there we go. So it seems to... We tried chemistry, we tried the tools, we tried taking out the entire trap, and we still have a problem. So what that means is that the clog is somewhere beyond parts that we could easily reach. So the third step is a step I don't want to get to, but it involves a plunger. So this, I don't want to make this my first step, because if the clog is in the trap, the P-trap, you don't want to push that out down your drain, down to some other part of your house that it could clog. So this is really kind of the last resort here. So this is what we're moving to. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to fill this up, both areas, with water. So we're going to use clog these. We're going to close them. Close in one sink. You need to always close in one sink. So you can tell it's sort of like it seems to want to go the water, but not quite. So we kind of have success, I think. I think it's very small. So we're going to really load this up as much as possible. I think to make things easier, what I'm going to do is, so you want to really load this up as if it's a toilet. So you want to fill it up as much as possible. Now that we've filled up both sinks, let's take, this is, I think everyone's quite familiar with how to do this. You're going to sort of get rid of the drain here, and we're going to use the plunger. Now we've got to be very careful here, because this isn't a toilet that you're trying to unclog. When it's a toilet, those are usually cast iron pipes or some heavy duty plastic. This is a kind of a gentle kitchen sink, so you want to be a lot more gentler than where you would be if this was a toilet. Okay, so you're kind of going to go there, the usual, walk it up. Keep doing it nice and gentle. Keep trying that. Stubborn, that's for sure. You should hear a breakthrough at some point. Doesn't look like we've got that breakthrough. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Maybe we've got some breakthrough. Let's move over to this side now. As you could tell, this drain doesn't work so well. It's kind of yucky there. Now we're going to try it here as well. Same sort of system. We're going to want to close this drain off and try it here again. Oh boy. That wasn't so good. Fill that up with water so you don't get any issues. And backsplash, because I think we just need to get some backsplash. I'm going to try that out. I think what we have here seems to work now, so I'm going to let that go by itself. See, this sink is going to have to need some, yeah, that's usually a good sign, the funnel. Let's try it out now. Okay, we're going to get the plunger out of here. Put the plunger in a bag. Let that run for a while, see what happens, try different spots. I think we got success here, people. We've got success. So we tried chemistry. We tried some simple plumbing by removing the trap. Had no success there. And then we went to option 3, which is the plunger. Now again, you don't want to start off with the plunger. Things are very delicate. Obviously this sink area, depending on your other uses of your plunger, may be dirty. So you're going to want to give this a real good scrub, unless you were using a new plunger. If you're using a new plunger, then it maybe needs a light scrub. But as we know, the plunger that at least I've used has got multiple uses, and so therefore this area will now need to be really scrubbed down nice and clean. Maybe not only just thank you for watching, but thank you for enduring what felt like a marathon. I thought this would take a few minutes, but it certainly did take us a lot longer, and this is live YouTubing for sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.